This is going to be a fun video. It's going to be a little bit more extensive than the ones that I usually post here on YouTube. Now, here's the thing. This is a whole program, all right? So I can give you part of the program in this, but I can't give you the whole thing. You're going to need to download some stuff. So follow the link below this. You'll find the PDF transcription of all of the exercises that I'm talking about. You'll also find a time chart for how long you're supposed to do each exercise. And then you're going to find a calendar for you to chart your progress. You're going to find a checkoff page so that you can check off each day that you practice. You're going to find a BPM chart. Like, you're going to find a ton of resources in this PDF booklet as well. So this is called 30 Days to Better Singles. And it is a follow-up to something that I did years ago and still have tons of people downloading it. It's called 30 Days to Better Doubles. And so I wanted to do something similar for your single strokes. And it works because it's an organized program. You're going to do it every day for a set amount of time. You're going to dig in. You're going to slowly make progress. You're going to find your weak areas and you're going to work on them. That's why this works. It's not magic exercises. The exercises are made to point out some weaknesses so that you can work them. And over the course of 30 days, it's going to really help you to improve upon your single strokes. Now, as you're going through this, the way that I suggest to people to increase in speed is to start on each exercise. Start at a tempo that is manageable for you and that you can do it cleanly. And then after you get the exercise under your hands, we're going to increase BPM by 1 to 2 BPMs every day or every other day, depending on where you are in your development. And you may reach a BPM where it's not possible to do that. You have to do 1 BPM every 2 days. That's okay. But the goal is that we're moving the speed up at such a slow rate that our bodies really can't tell the difference between 80 and 81 BPM from one day to the next, right? And so we want to do that slow movement so that we can really ingrain in ourselves that we see that continued progress and then also get these exercises down without playing them sloppy. So let's go ahead and jump in. There's going to be 9 exercises to this, and then this is going to take you about 20 minutes to go through every day once you learn it, maybe less depending on how fast you play this, but the goal is between 20 and 25 minutes. Again, that speed chart, how long you play these, calendars, everything, and the transcription is available. The link's below this, so I would love to send that to you. So the first exercise, I'm going to play it all on the pad here. The first exercise is going to be called Down with the Ups Part 1. We have a Part 1 and a Part 2. And so Down with the Ups, I find that many times people have trouble with their single stroke rolls because they're not comfortable with the upbeat portion of that roll. So their timing gets a little off. So that's what this is going to focus on. It's 2 measures long, and it's very, very simple. The first measure is going to start with the right hand, and we're going to play 8th notes. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to go to the left hand, and we're going to play all of the E's and the U's. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and All right, now you'll see on the PDF booklet we play that for a certain amount of time, and then we switch to the left hand. Okay, and the left hand is going to play the first measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and All right, now I'm going to demonstrate all of these exercises. I'm not going to go try to blow you away with my speed. That's not the point of this lesson. The point is that I'm teaching these to you. So I'm going to be demonstrating them at slow tempo so that you can get your head around them and then you can go and increase the speed as you see. So here is this exercise at 65 BPM with 16th notes on the subdivision so you can hear those subdivisions and make sure you're hitting the E's and the U's correctly. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Left hand, 2, 3, 4. Now, obviously, the quicker you get, the more you're going to be relying on rebound. The slower you are, the more you're going to be relying on those muscles to really control what's going on. So do not be afraid to let those wrists bounce, to let those fingers get involved. Once you start pushing tempo, it is necessary for you to allow that rebound to get those clean single strokes. Many of these exercises are designed to point out flaws, so you're probably going to find some technique issues in what you're playing. So I am going to suggest that you really take a hardcore look at technique and all of those things. All right, the second one is called Down on the Ups Part 2. What we're going to do is we're going to start on the E's and the U's. So the first measure is the left hand, and it's going to go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and and then we're going to play straight 16th notes alternating with a right hand lead in the second measure. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E 3 E and 4 E and each time through we switch hands. So the first time we're starting with the left, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Right hand, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Left hand, 1 E and 2 3 4. And again, in the PDF, it'll tell you how long to play that. Let me play that at a slower tempo so that you can see how it goes. Here it is at 60 BPM, 16th notes on the click. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you move up in tempo, you're going to probably take those 16th notes away. They can become a crutch, but at slow tempos and to really help you sort out your timing, they're really useful. And then as you start to speed up, take them away so that they're not a crutch and you begin to be better at timing in between those quarter notes. Now, the third one, we're calling that single diddling. And so we're going to come in here and we're going to be playing a skeleton of 16th notes. So that's the underlying rhythm. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Now, when we're playing that in the first measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to diddle or I'm going to double. So I'm going to play singles though. It's not going to be a double stroke. I'm just going to double that note. And I'm going to play that on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And what that's going to do is that's going to cause me to reverse my sticking. So we have a 30-second note on 1. It's going to go 1 E and then we have another 30-second note and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and ba 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 ba. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Now, what you want to do is make sure that it doesn't get into the triplet range. We want to make it 30-second notes and a 16th note. I'll put a click on real quick in just a second and show you that. Now, measure 2 is going to be on the E's and the U's. So it's going to go 1 E and 2 E and So that 30-second notes are on the E's and the U's. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and All right, so let's go with the first measure. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Let's put that to a click at 60 BPM and I'll show you what that sounds like. 3 E and 4 E and The fourth exercise I'm calling keep it straight, and that is what I just pointed out before, is making sure the subdivisions are the subdivisions you want them to be. So we want to work on not making that 3-note 16th pattern turn into more of a triplet feel. And so in the first measure, we have 2 32nd notes on the downbeat. So 1 and then E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and. Instead of turning into that triplet, it's 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 4 E and. All right, you'll see that that's the same hand. Now, when we get to the next measure, what we're going to do is every 3 16th notes for the first 3 beats, we're going to add 2 32nd notes. So it's going to go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and on beat 4 we're going 4 E and you'll notice we end on the right hand. So that means the next measure, when we repeat it, starts on the left hand. 1 E and, 2 E, and there we go, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E right hand, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, let's put that to a click at 60 BPM and I'll show you what that sounds like. I've got 8 notes on the click, just so you know. 3 and 4 and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and. Exercise number 5 is called the Sextuplet Scramble, okay? Single stroke rolls are not just done in 32nd notes and 16th notes, they're done in sextuplets, they're done in odds, so 5s and 6s, or excuse me, 5s and 7s, and so all of those we need to be comfortable with. So this is gonna start putting some accents in there, and what this will really help you do is begin to use the rebound. Whenever I put an accent in a single stroke roll, many times I'm using a molar type stroke where we're getting more rebound, more bang for our buck, right? And I've got a ton of lessons of those in the members area on my website if you want to check those out. I've got a whole hand technique lesson track. I'll take you through finger control, push, pull, all that stuff. So I use a lot of rebound. Right, all that's rebound. You can see that my finger's hanging there, and this is just really acting as a fulcrum there, a balance point. So what's gonna happen is in the first measure, we have sextuplets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, and 4, and we're accenting the downbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 notes to a beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the second measure, this is going to be 7 measures long if I'm remembering correctly. The second measure, I better remember correctly because I'm teaching it. As a matter of fact, just let me look. There we go. It's 6 measures. I lied to you. I'm a liar. The second measure is going to go accenting on the left hand on the upbeat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and third measure, we're accenting the first 2 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the second measure, we're accenting beats 3 and 4 of every beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and third measure, 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the fifth measure, we're accenting the downbeats and the upbeats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me play everything we have. First measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Second measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Third measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. fourth measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the fifth measure is going to be the downbeats and the upbeats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the last measure, we're going to, in beat 1, we're accenting the first two notes, 1 and, then in the next beat 2, we're accenting the 2 and the and. 2 and, beat 3, we're accenting 1 and 3, 3, and then we're accenting the 6 of that beat. Okay, again, all that's in the sheet music. So let me play that measure. 1 and 2, excuse me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, so let me play that whole thing together so you can hear it. Eighth notes on the click at 60 BPM. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and again. And that one gets really fun whenever we speed it up. All right, number 6 is called the cooker because it kind of slowly simmers to a boil is what's going to happen, all right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to play one measure of 8 notes, but we're going to repeat it 4 times. So 4 measures, really. But it's the same measure repeated 4 times. So it's going to go simply 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Now, the next measure we're going to repeat 4 times. And again, in the booklet that I've got, this is going to kind of outline how we're doing this. You're going to play 4 beats of 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We're going to repeat that measure 4 times. The next measure is sextuplets, so 6 notes per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, all even. The next one is going to be 32nd notes, and that's going to be 8 notes per beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we're going to play that 4 times through as well. Okay, so let me put this with a click. 4 measures of each of those, 4 times through each of those, and then we repeat that whole exercise for a certain amount of time. You can find that in the time chart in the PDF booklet. So let's check this out. 50 BPM. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and sextuplets. All right, so that's going to be the exercise called the cooker. All right, the next one's called Burn It Up. Burn It Up is really focused on just kind of that single hand because single strokes are really just singles between the hands, right? And so what we're going to do is improve each hand's single stroke. So what we're going to do is 2 beats of 16th notes. It's going to start like this, an accent, 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and Then we have a left hand lead 32nd note roll on beat 3. It's going to go 1 E and 2 E, excuse me, 3 E and there we go. Then we have 4 more 32nd notes, so a beat and a half of 32nd notes. 3 E and 4 E. And then we play and you'll notice that we end on the right hand, so we're going to start the next one on the left hand. Accent, left, E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and we reverse it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E. 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Go ahead and put that with a click, and we'll go at 60 BPM. 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. The next one's going to be called accent in the threes, because it's all about every 3/16 notes we're going to put an accent. So kind of that 3/4 polyrhythm is what it's kind of focusing on. So we're just going to be on the same hand. So it's going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and then we have 4 E and unaccented, 4 E and Then in the next measure, we're playing the same thing, but with 30-second notes underneath it. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. First measure, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. We repeat those two measures 3 times. The last measure is going to be just like the second measure. It's going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Then we switch hands. 1 E and a 2 E. So the first two measures 3 times. Then we go to the last measure, and then we switch hands for the next one. Let me play that for you. 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Left hand. Let me put that to a click. It's going to be 55 BPM. I'll have 8 notes on the click. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2. Left hand. And then the last exercise, exercise number 9, is going to be called Movable Diddles. So underneath it, it's going to be 4 measures long, and underneath it we have 16th notes. Okay, that's our skeleton. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now we're going to repeat each of these 4 measures 8 times, and we're going to do this for a certain amount of time. You can find that in the PDF workbook for how long we're going to do that. So what we're going to do is, in the first measure, we're going to diddle that first note. So put 2 30-second notes on it, but they're going to be single strokes. So 1 E and then we have to reverse that, right? 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. The second measure, we're going to diddle the A, the E. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and first measure 1 E and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third measure, we're going to do the upbeat. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and the third measure, or the fourth measure, we're going to do the 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and And we're going to repeat each one of those 8 times. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and second measure 1 E and 2 E, 4 E and third measure 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and fourth measure 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Now let's put that to a click, 55 BPM, 8 notes on the click. And just for brevity's sake, I'll do each measure 2 times instead of 8. 3E and a, 4E and a. And there you've got 30 Days to Better Singles, the brother of 30 Days to Better Doubles. I'll put links for both of those below this so you can get the PDF work book for this and then have the video to go with it as well. It's going to give you, calendars and all that stuff. And then I'll also put 30 Days to Better Doubles. You get the video download, the PDF work. All that stuff is free, okay? And as well, if you've liked this video, share it with somebody that you think it may help. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I want to know that you stopped by. Subscribe to the channel. Tons of new content coming. I'm always posting things. And as well, if you ever need help with your drumming, if you need an organized system that is catered to you, then go check out the Drum Better Daily program over on the website. The link is below this, stevensdrumshed.com. I really do think it'll help you out. There is a trial period that you can check it out, and so please take advantage of all of that. I would love to help you. But whatever you do, I will see you here in the next video. Go download that workbook. It's going to help you go through it.